The new lockpicking system in Starfield can be a little bit confusing at first, and it even gets harder as you get into the harder difficulty of locks. So today I'm going to be going over some more advanced tips and strategies for this lockpicking minigame, and how you can try to make sure that you're not wasting digipicks while going for the Cyber Jockey achievement. And now, let's get to hunting. Now, I went over the basics of lockpicking in Starfield in my previous video, so we'll just quickly go over those parts. I'd highly recommend checking that video out first and then coming over to this one. It'll be linked down in the description. In the minigame, we have our lock wheel in the center, our digipick patterns on the right, as well as our number of digipicks in our inventory right above them. Of course, making the main goal simple, we just want to check out the patterns and figure out which ones will take care of each of the circles and try to have it all planned out before we actually lock any of them in. This will be easy at first, but as you take more points in the security skill, you're going to be able to take on harder and harder locks. They balance this a little bit by giving you some extra tools and perks to help make the minigame a little bit easier. For the ranks of the security skill, you can attempt novice locks right off the bat without putting any points into security. With the first rank of security, you'll be able to hack advanced locks, and you'll have 2 auto attempts that can be banked. When you use one of these auto attempts, it will just automatically pick one of the available patterns and place it in the position that it'll work for the most outer ring. Sort of useful, but not really. The second rank of security will allow you to hack expert locks and bank 3 auto attempts. It also turns the rings blue when the pattern you're on is able to fit somewhere on it. This is the really big one that you absolutely want to level up to pretty quickly, or at least as quickly as you can. Rank 3 will allow you to hack master level locks and bank 4 auto attempts. And finally, rank 4 will allow you to expend a digipick to eliminate the keys that aren't required to solve the puzzle, plus you can bank 5 auto attempts. Now, let's get into a master level lock so I can break down the thought process and how to get through these lock puzzles without getting stuck and wasting digipicks. The biggest pro tip I can give first though, save before attempting a high difficulty lock. Whatever difficulty you're not feeling confident about, make sure you just save before picking the lock so that you can just revert back to the save if you end up messing it up, or if you want to re-roll for an easier puzzle. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So for this master lock, we'll have the lock pulled up, but a thing that you can also do to help yourself out is to grab a piece of paper, a tablet, or whatever you can use to take notes on where the patterns go. So I'll do this to make the master lock a little bit easier. We'll start out drawing all of the circles, and you of course don't have to do it exactly like this, but this is what I thought helped the most for me. We'll start with the first ring and try to find out which patterns will work for it. After moving around a few, it looks like I should probably be able to use the bottom right one in combination with the top right to fill those out. And just a reminder, as long as you have that security 2 skill, the rings will turn blue if the pattern you have selected can fit there, so we know both of those can only go into the first ring anyway. Then moving on to the second ring, it looks like the middle right pattern will fit, so let's put that there and see if another one will fit in the rest. The second one on the top row looks like the right spacing, and it looks like it'll fit. With any of the ones that have a smaller amount of notches in the pattern, you want to be careful because those can generally fit in a lot of the circles. But we can go back and change it if we need to later on, as long as we don't slot in any of these patterns. Normally I would then move on to the third ring, but when going over the third pattern in the middle, I saw that it could only go in the fourth ring, so I went ahead and put it in there to solve that ring. Then we just have 2 spaces left over, and I already saw which one could go there, so we can mark that off as well. Now, the only one left is the third ring. Looking at the patterns left with 4 notches, there's one that will fit on the ring, leaving only 1 gap left over, and we happen to have a couple of patterns with only 1 notch. So we'll mark this one off as well as one of the ones with only 1 notch. At that point, we have all of them solved and can just look over to our notes and slot in all of those very quickly. And that's all of the tips I have to help make lockpicking in Starfield easier. If you have any other tips, make sure you drop them in the comments below to help everyone out, including me. I'm sure there are other ways to think about it or figure it out, so whatever works for you. And of course, if you're playing Starfield, you'll probably want to check out my playlist of Starfield guides, including my achievement guides linked down in the description.